رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. بسم الله. Danish, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Young Haqqi, how we doing, my man? Sultan, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. AK, wa alaikum assalam, how we doing, my man? Bearded fella, listen guys, I got a mad life for you today. That's gonna make a lot of people very angry. Very angry. Oh, but I'm not excited because of that. I'm excited because of the way I'm gonna articulate it for you. You will never need to have this discussion again. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah from France. Rabia, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let's go through this. Ali, kayf al-halakh? Portuguese, how you doing, my bro? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Slickman Ralph, assalamu alaikum, akh. I am Reese. Yes, I will check my, guys, I will check my DMs. Don't worry, inshallah. My DMs recently have been mental. Absolutely mental. And obviously, I'm still trying to run my life, right? Run my business, run my life. So, I will check my DMs, inshallah ta'ala, in due course. Be patient with me. Okay. Just getting my sock on. Let's crack right on. I'm going to be having a lady coming onto this live. Her name's Brittany. Brittany, if you're here, can you drop a comment, please? If you're on the live, Brittany, can you drop a comment? Got my flipping socks on the walls. Okay. Let's see. Farhad, assalamu alaikum. How you doing, my man? Bearded fella. Yes, bearded fella. Mary, how we doing? Brittany, when you're on the, as soon as you're on the live, can you let me know, please, okay? I'm going to jump into it. I've actually taken notes, okay? I'm a very precise person. I want to get it to the T, because this is an important discussion, okay? Bismillah, let's do this. Okay. What is a high value male? The perennial question. Bismillah. I'd much rather have Brittany on this. I could do this with her. But anyways, let's just go. What's a high value male? Well, let's first ask the question. Who gets to define what a high value male is? Drop me a comment. Who gets to define that? I want to see some comments. Let me see now. Let me see what you got. Who gets to define what a high value male is? A man. Okay, AK, wrong. No, men do not define. We do not get to define what a high value male is. Sorry. Women define it. I'll tell you why. We want to attract women. Correct? Correct. Then the only way we will become attractive to a woman is if we possess the qualities that she finds attractive. Got it? So a high value male is whatever women generally have consensually agreed upon to be one. And guess what? It flips the other way around as well. Who gets to define what a high value female is? Well, you've already guessed it. Gents, we do. We define what a high value female is, not them. Just as Adam, my man, what's going on now? Just as we do not get to define what a high value male is. It's impossible. I'm going to give you a story to make it easier for you to understand. Steve Jobs, in the late 1980s, I believe it was the late 80s, shortly before he got fired, he developed a product, a computer called the Lisa. This computer, he plowed all his energy, all his mental resources, all his financial resources, all of Apple's resources into this computer. It was the biggest flop, and a couple months later, he was fired. Now, Steve Jobs believed this computer was the one. This computer, it's the one. There's just no two ways about it. The market's gonna love it. But then guess what happened? The market didn't bite. The market never bought. The market decided, we don't like your crappy Lisa computer, and therefore we're not buying it. Steve Jobs proceeded to lose his job equally. I had a woman say to me earlier, and Brittany, if you're on this live, it was you who said it, that she said to me, women shouldn't care what men value in a woman. What the blood clot are you talking about? If you don't care what we value and you try to bring other things to the table that we don't value it. Just as if I try to bring something to the table and say to a woman, I've got this, that, and the other, and she doesn't care, she doesn't value it, then she has every right to send me on my merry way. I can have the best character in the world. I can be amazing. I can be polite. But if I'm dead broke and have no ambition, what woman's going to take you? What woman will take a man like that? So this is why I say women define what a high value man is. Men define what a high value woman is. Good. Carrying on. I want to get this to the T. Okay? Now we've established who defines who. I have two examples for you. Ladies, you have two men. They are equal in character, equal in looks, equal in generosity, equal in patience, equal in religion if you're a religious person. All things being equal, with the exception of one thing. And that is, person A is a rich man. And person B is not only dead broke, but he has no ambition. Who you picking? I want to hear it now. In the comments, who you picking? Tell me, be honest. All things being equal, same character, same looks, same age, same everything, except one thing. One of them's rich, the other one's broke and has no ambition to change his situation. Who you picking? I want to see a comment in the comments. So stop talking nonsense, the broke. Even I picked the rich one. I want to hear it from a lady. I want to hear it. Person A. Thank you, Rabia. You'd pick the rich one. Good. This is logical. There's nothing wrong with it. It makes perfect sense. You are the ones who are going to be carrying his baby. You're the ones who are going to be vulnerable. And you are the ones who are looking for security as a result of that. Normal. Nothing wrong with it. It's exactly how it should be. Now let's flip it. You have two women. All things being equal, both have beautiful character. They both make excellent food. They both, are educated. They both have great manners. All things being equal, with the exception of one thing. One of them's 22 and has never been married before, has no kids. The other one's 32 and has 2 kids. Gentlemen, who are you picking? I'm not going to answer. I want to get this answer from you. Who are you picking, gents? The 22-year-old who's never had kids before, or the 32-year-old who has kids? Who are you picking? AK, you just being... Okay, maybe you would. I will save it, I am Reese. But I need you guys to answer the question. The 22-year-old woman, thank you very much. Normal. Perfectly normal. Why? Because men value a number of things that come with youth in a woman. Number one, obviously her beauty. She's at the peak of her beauty. Number two, she's at the peak of her fertility. Okay, this is another important point if you want to have kids. She's at the peak of her fertility. If she's 32, she's 3 years away from high-risk pregnancies. And my wife was showing me the stats of how conception for a woman, once she gets past 35, it's like it just falls off a cliff. It's mad. So you are inclined to choosing the 22-year-old. What does that mean? This means that a high-value female, as defined by a man, lies in her youth and beauty. That's what it means. And the older you become, the lesser your value in the eyes of the market of men. In general, all things being equal. Remember, equal character, equal patience, food, whatever you want to call it. All things being equal, the 22-year-old has a higher value than the 32-year-old. And the 32-year-old has a higher value than the 42-year-old amongst women. This is how we define high-value men and high-value women. Members of the opposite sex are the judges. You women define what a high value man is meant to be, and off we go and make sure we can fulfill that. Equally, we define what a high value woman is, but the difference here is many women don't want to get to grips with this reality. Now, men, we're quite used to taking on the burden of performance. It's called the burden of performance. Think about it logically. You're a 21-year-old young man. You meet a girl at uni. You love her. You fall in love with her. You go to her father and you say to her, "Uncle, I fall in love with your daughter. I want to marry her." What's the typical response? "Putter, finish your degree, get your mortgage, get a nice car, and get a good job." Classic response. We are used to the burden of performance. It's not even a burden, it's a pleasure. The pleasure of performance. Because we love spending on our families. In general, there's men who are not men as far as I'm concerned. Yes, Jazakallah khair, I mean. We're used to the burden of performance. But women, they hit their prime early on, and literally, they are top of the pickings. They are top or highest value once they hit their early 20s. And they don't have to do nothing for it. Nothing at all. And at that age, by the way, a 20-year-old man and a 20-year-old woman, the woman is high value. The man, 20-year-old young man, he's generally speaking a low value man. He has a low sexual market value. And no knock on the young men here. It's simply because you're broke, my guy. You can't give her the security that she needs. And that's okay. It takes time to build. Your time is coming. Late 30s, early 40s. That's when a man starts to peak. Your time is coming. But right now, you've got a low sexual market value. 20-year-old young man, 25-year-old young man, even 30-year-old man. Your sexual market value is still relatively low because it takes time for you to mature up here and it takes time for you to mature in your pocket. You're broke. Understand? Does that make sense, guys? Let me know if this makes sense while I look through my notes. Right. Yes, my guy. Thank you. Walid. Okay. Now, my story I put up yesterday irritated some women. They said, I had messages along the lines of, "Hold on a minute, Mahdi. Why would you want 4 young wives for? You said maximum 23 years old. That's not fair. What about us?" Ladies, I need you to listen very carefully. If you're a high value man, and by the way, I'm not claiming to be a high value man. Let me just make this categorically clear. I am not rich. Yeah, I'm not rich. I don't fulfill that criteria. So this is not me polishing my halo because I don't fit that bill. Okay? Tamam. Let's carry on. If you're a high value man and you have the wealth to boot, you have all the options. A high value man who has the wealth to boot as well has all the options. Please, ladies, you tell me, if a high value man with all the options has all the options, why would he want to pick an option that is an inferior option to the better option? It's really important you get a handle on this. A 22-year-old girl who's never been married before is higher value in his eyes than a 32-year-old who has all other things being equal. Before you say to me, what if she has a better personality? All things being equal, the 22-year-old with no kids is more desirable than the 32-year-old with kids. 32-year-old without kids. You with me? It's a fact. It is what it is. Couple that with another side point, which is a younger girl is going to be more malleable than an older woman. And I remember very clearly my sister-in-law, when she got married, I remember her mother-in-law telling me, she got married at 18. And I remember her mother-in-law coming and she spoke to me, she said, "Oh, I'm so glad that we got her at this young age." I said, "Yeah, why do you say that?" She said, "Oh, she can mold to our ways, our culture, our habits." It's like, yeah, I didn't think of it like that. An older woman and man, by the way, men and women, as they grow, as they age, we become set in our ways. We become stubborn, right? But if a man is looking for a woman to mold herself around him because he's going to be the provider, Waleed, I'll get back to you in a second, my guy. Because he's going to be the provider, then he's going to want her to mold around him. Who's more moldable? The younger one is more moldable. You with me? Waleed, send that request again, bro. I'm going to get you on this live. Send it again, inshallah. Some hot topics here, man. Some hot topics. Wallahi. So then the question begs itself. When it comes to Muslim women, what's the solution? I had a Muslim woman say to me earlier, okay, Mahdi, if you're speaking like this, you're telling me, on the one hand, you said to me, Mahdi, that a man should not take on another wife until he can provide for her. Completely. And then on the other hand, you're telling me, but if he can take on another wife, he's not going to take on a divorcee or a woman with kids. Then what's the solution here, Mahdi? Like, what solution are you offering? Okay, let me make this clear. Ladies, sisters, please listen. It's very important. If you find a man who is high value, high net worth, high value, understand he has all the options. Okay? If you are not high value in his eyes, you don't qualify. Let me get this guy in here. Waleed, you do not qualify. He might still take you on anyways, and it happens all the time. There's exceptions all the time, but they are exceptions. Waleed, yes, what's going on, bro?
What are you saying, man? Walaikum salam, bro.
How you doing, my guy? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm just chilling. I was just watching your live and that.
Yeah. How long have you been following this for so far?
Like 5 minutes. I can't lie.
Okay. What do you want to add to the conversation, bro?
I can't lie. I didn't really, what's it called? Disagree with anything you said. I can't lie. I would literally agree with all of it. Like,
well, a woman would turn around and say, well, you would agree. You're a guy.
Yeah.
You know?
So obviously, me personally, like, I'm familiar when it comes to like high value males and everything else. Like, I'll say the majority of the population isn't really familiar with that topic and everything. Yeah. It's just kind of just the generation now. But yeah.
How do you feel about what I said, that younger men have low sexual market values? You look like a young man. How old are you?
I'm 18 myself.
You're 18. How does it make you feel when I say to you the average 18-year-old man has a low sexual market value?
Remind me what you mean by low sexual market value.
Well, we have to remind ourselves who defines the market? Who defines value? Women define value in men. We want to please women, right?
Right.
Because as in we want to be attractive to women. Therefore, we must establish what do they find valuable. Well, one of the most important things for a woman is security, stability. Security, stability meaning money. Right. Most 18-year-old boys, 19, 20, 25, 30 are still broke. Therefore, in the eyes of a woman, you have a low sexual market value. But that's okay. Right. That's not a problem because your time is coming.
Yeah. No
you age like wine. It takes time for you to mature. It takes time for you to get your shit together. It takes time for you to save money, to build wealth, to be able to offer security and stability to another woman. Yeah. But guys, I want you to see, this is a young man on this live right now. I nearly said show. What the hell do I think I'm running? This is a young man on this live right now. He's 18 years old. And I just said to him, he has a low sexual market value, and he didn't flinch. He didn't flinch. You know why? Because he accepts reality as it is. It's okay to make peace with reality. Well, his time is coming if he puts in that work and he puts in that grind. But today, right now, is not that time yet. Not yet. How do you feel about that, Waleed?
I 100% agree. I can't lie to you. And I don't, like, anybody who disagrees. I mean, obviously, there's that minority that, obviously, at my age, have their money up and financially secured and everything. But that's the minority and everything. Yeah. When it comes to the majority people of my age, including myself, I ain't got my money up right now. I don't have anything to offer to a female like that. So why am I going to involve myself in that type of situation? You get me?
Absolutely. I mean, look, I got married at 16, so I'm an exception. I'm an exception to the rule. But I had great parents who facilitated that. But most young men, if you were to go to a girl's father today, he's going to turn around and say, Putter, you need to go sort out your degree, finish your degree, son. Get a good job, son. Get a nice house, son, and a good car. And then come back and chat to me, and I'll talk to you about my daughter. That's going to be the response from the majority of dads.
Yeah.
You with me? And that's normal, because he's thinking, I want to make sure my daughter is taken care of. This is nature. It's just nature. You with me?
Yeah, when it comes, 100%.
Anything you want to add to that, Waleed?
To just expand on that, even I know that one of my cousins, he got married at a young age, 19 years old.
Yeah.
He gets married at 19, he got divorced, 2 years later, divorced. Yeah, so he got, basically, there's a lot of reasons why he got divorced, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to put it into that one reason, you could say that he, again, was not really in the financially stable. That I can't lie, when it comes to marriages, finance is one of the biggest things that can come. That is literally.
Listen, you're absolutely right, especially for a woman. Especially for a woman, because look, a woman will invest in a man with bearing in mind two factors. Number one, either he has money, or number two, she thinks one day he will have money. My wife said to me, when I married my wife here upstairs right now, she was my third wife at the time. She said to me, Mahdi, I married you because I saw potential in you. She said, I saw it, not right now, but in 10, 15 years, her words, she said, I believed you're going to become something in 10, 15 years. So she basically put a bet on me. She put a bet on me that I'm going to become something at some point in the future. So two things. They'll either marry a man who has stability right now, or a man who shows potential that he can offer her stability. But best believe, I don't care if a woman disagrees with me on this chat, you're lying. No woman will take a man who is a bum, who has no ambition, no aspiration, and just wants to sign on the dough. None of you will take him.
And I don't see how a woman can disagree with that and be like, yeah, I'll take a bum. Because how can you say that at the end of the day and be proud of yourself? Just, okay, you love him, but he's a bum. So it's either that, okay, say you love him and he's a bum, but you still love him and everything. I feel like that is possible at the end of the day. A girl loving a guy that's a bum, okay? But at the end of the day, in the future, the chances of her cheating on him way higher than
for sure. I mean, and eventually she'll start to lose respect for him, and she will start to unlove him.
That's like what happened to my cousin when he got divorced. It's just like, I'm not gonna lie, he was a bum and everything, but nothing to offer.
That's it. Waleed, Jazakallah khair. We're going to try and get one of the sisters on the live. Thank you very much, my man. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Right. Ladies, sisters, I want one of you on the live. Rabia, come on the live, sister. One of you sisters, any one of you. Rabia, if you come on this live, it won't show on your live. It will only show on my live. It's not like TikTok, by the way. It's different. Who wants to come on the live? One of the sisters. I want to hear from the ladies. Brittany, are you here yet? Are you on the live? Frosty, my guy, I want to get one of the ladies. I want them to present their point of view, because I know this is a stickling point for a lot of women, and it's something we really need to wrap our heads around. And I haven't even offered my solution yet, by the way, for if all high value men just take the young girls, what's the solution for the single moms? Let me see these requests. Who's sending me these requests? Any ladies? Right, Brittany, there you are. We're just waiting for Brittany to come on right now. Brittany, how are we doing? Good evening.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for joining the live, Brittany. Thank you for joining the live, Brittany.
Yeah.
How long have you been on the live? I don't know how much you've heard.
I've heard bits of it, but I've just kind of been following like what you've said over the past couple of days, like about single mothers, etc.
Well, you mentioned a point on your message that I mentioned at the beginning of this live, but we'll bring it up again. I'd like you to unpack this point more for me so that I can understand it better. You said that a woman shouldn't be too interested in what a man finds valuable. Can you unpack that for me, please?
I just basically think that if anything, it will actually it goes against them, because if you're so focused on like what a man finds valuable, then how are you focusing on yourself? How are you like bettering yourself? If everything revolves around what you think a man should desire, then really you're living basically through the eyes and views of a man.
Okay, I'm gonna flip the question for you. I'm gonna give you an example. I own a shop. I own a business, an online business. Just imagine, okay? And this online business, I create products. One day, I create this beautiful, let's say, I'm into weights. I like weight stuff, right? So I create this new barbell. You know what a barbell is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I create this new barbell. I think this barbell is the best barbell in the world. It's incredible. It's got all these funky gizmos and gadgets, and it's an amazing barbell. I put thousands of pounds into it. Now I decide one day it's time to sell this barbell. I put it onto my online website and I wait for the orders to flood in. But guess what happens? Nobody buys. I wait another day. Nobody buys. I wait a third day. I'm scratching my head. I'm like, this is an amazing product, but nobody's buying. So my question to you, Brittany, is if I think my product's amazing, but the market disagrees with me, is my product amazing?
Well, no, well, not really. It depends on if you want to sell lots, then no. But
Well,
if
the
you're
example I gave was no one's buying. No one agrees with me. So I will say equally, if you don't pay attention to what a man finds valuable and you add other things, then he won't find you valuable. And by the way, it swings both ways. Okay, what is one thing that women tend to look for in a man? What is it that's something that's really quite important to her, in your view?
in my view, I don't know. I'd say basically like understanding, basically. Someone that's
Okay.
patient and understanding.
All right, I'm going to bring a man to you tomorrow. Imagine, work with me here. He's a very understanding man, but he's dead broke and he has no ambition of earning any money. Would you marry him?
I don't think, I do disagree. I don't think that that is the most important thing.
Brittany, stay with me. Stay with me. I'm going to bring you a man who's understanding. Very understanding man. Kind, caring, great guy. But two things. Number one, he's broke. And number two, he has no ambition of changing that. Would you marry him? Yes or no?
Yeah, but there's more to it than that, though.
There is more to it, Brittany. But in this example I gave you, yes or no?
Yeah, but this is your straw man, and there needs to be more to it.
It is a straw man, but straw men have their uses. They make difficult concepts easy to understand.
Yeah, so I'll give you an alternative. So basically...
Hold on. You can give me an alternative once you answer my question. Would you marry him?
Well, no, because we'd only known each other one day.
Like, you've known him for a year.
To disregard... Yeah, I would. If someone was broke, say they were depressed, they became depressed, they lost their ambition, they lost their like view of what they wanted to do, would that mean I wouldn't want to marry them? No, because there's...
Hold on. That's not what I said. What I said was, not only is he broke, because sometimes women do marry broke men if they feel there's potential in them. So she's like, you know what? There's potential in this guy. I think he's going places. I'm going to place a bet on this horse. But my example was, not only is he broke right now, but he has no potential. He is telling you to your face, Brittany, I just want to sign on the dole. And furthermore, I've got so little money, I'm going to need you to give me pocket money. Would you marry him?
I think that's an extreme example, though, because...
It is extreme. I'm using an extreme example to make it easy to comprehend. I know you don't want to say no. I know you don't want to say no because it proves my point, and then I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm right, you see? But you understand where I'm going. That's security.
I do understand, but I think that it's not really related to gender. It literally applies to women as well, because you could have a girlfriend who basically says the same thing. She's like, oh, I'm not getting a job. Like, I have no ambition. Like, the sex might dry up in a year. Like, do you want to marry me? Like, most men would be like, no.
No. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
This is really important. Yeah, of course. Look,
So
think
it applies both ways.
Men and women, I would definitely marry a girl like that. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Hold on, if she was beautiful, number one, she's visually appealing, right? And then secondly, I like her character, we get on, so on and so forth. Yes, shall I tell you why? You want to tell you why, Brittany? Because as a man, I pride myself, as most men can relate, on providing for my woman. I pride myself on providing for my woman. So when you ask me, would I marry a girl who has no ambition other than to be basically what you're describing as a housewife, my answer to you is an emphatic yes. Actually, there are times when this is more preferable than a career-oriented woman, because if she's a high-flying woman, I'm probably not going to see her much. Truth of the matter. So yes, hell to the yes, I'd marry her. And this is where we must make the distinction in what men and women find valuable. What you find valuable in us is not the same as what we find valuable in you. We have different, and there's no problem in this, but we value things.
Yeah, I definitely agree that men and women, I think we do like value different things. But I think at the same time, we do have a lot of the same core values. It's just the way it's addressed. Like you're saying, you would marry a woman without ambition, etc. And I just don't think that's true. I think that after a while, I mean, you might marry her, but the success rate of it, how successful would that be?
You have to go back to, what do men value? What do men value in a woman? Aside from her aesthetic appearance, all right, let's talk what else. All right, what do I value? You know, it's so simple, it's going to blow your mind. Is she going to be nice to me? Firstly, can I have a decent conversation with her without it breaking out in a firefight every 2 minutes? Number one. Number two, is she going to cook me a nice hot meal when I come home from a long day's worth of work? I've worked all day long, I'm hungry, and I'm tired. Is there going to be food on the table? Second. Number three, well, hopefully we can have good sex. And then that pretty much wraps it up. I am not expecting her to bring home food on the table. That's my job. And I pride myself on that. And I feel fulfilled taking care of a woman when I do that. Equally, I feel unfulfilled as a man if I can't do that. And most men will be able to relate to this. So yes, Brittany, I would, and many men would. But what you guys find valuable in us is different, and for good reason. For good reason. Now, moving on to the next point, you mentioned that you believe a woman should, correct me if I'm wrong, should try to attract a man with her masculinity. Can you explain that more to me, please?
No, not attract, not basically use masculinity to attract men. That's not what I meant. But I meant in terms of like people living their optimum kind of lives. I think that it's best actually for everyone as individuals to kind of utilize a mixture of both. So basically use your femininity and your masculinity regardless of your gender. Everybody is born with amounts of estrogen and testosterone. So it's all there in each of us.
Okay,
so
I agree with that. Men also need to express their feminine side sometimes as well. For example, you know, you're laying in bed with your wife and you're cuddling and you need to be soft. You don't want to be like a hard macho man when you're lying with your wife in bed, right? So I would agree with you there. But in general, do you believe that a woman should express more masculine vibes to attract a man or more feminine vibes? What do you feel works better in your view?
Well, I think biologically, like psychologically, like a straight man, you know, it's femininity that I find attractive. Like that's just the case. I think that is the truth. I was just talking more about society as a whole, just like succeeding in society, basically.
You mean like to succeed in the workplace and stuff?
Yeah, basically like the workplace, just in everything. Like it's best for people to use a mixture.
I will agree with you there, because disagreeable people go far in life, especially in their careers. Agreeable people, meaning people who just say yes, yes, and accept what life gives them, they don't go very far. So there I will agree with you. And it's also one of the reasons why we have a gender pay gap, by the way, because women tend to be more agreeable than men. It's not the only reason. There are other reasons, but women, by their nature, are more facilitating. Men tend to be less facilitating. You can see by my character, I'm quite a disagreeable person, right? So that means that I'm probably going to break through a lot of brick walls. And that's fine, that's biology. But I'm talking in terms of attracting the opposite sex. In your view, should a woman express more masculine energy or more feminine energy?
Well, I think obviously for a straight man, yeah, feminine energy. But I do
Well,
think
you don't want to attract a gay man. That'll kind of defeat the purpose.
no, well, yeah, no. So I think, but I think masculinity can work for women in terms of, you know, if you think of a lot of men, I don't know, I'm just talking stereotypically. So say like going on a date with a girl who like can't kick a ball, or going on a date with a girl that can and like, you know, does it really well. Some might say, you know, it's kind of masculine to be like physical and good at it, but some men might find that attractive, and that might be like an example of masculinity being attractive within a woman. You know,
I mean, each to their own. Each to their own. I got nothing against girls playing football, whatever. Each to their own. But I'll use a more concise example. Okay, I'm gonna paint this image for you. Just imagine you're in a restaurant and you're with your date. You've met this guy. You're on a date. Okay. All of a sudden, armed robbers come in, and they're holding everyone at gunpoint. Shall I tell you something? That this actually happened to one of my friends. Not with armed robbers, but it was a similar situation. The situation got hostile. Somebody came in, created a big riot. His date, not girlfriend, suddenly she held his arm and hid behind her. He said to me, Mahdi, that was the best part of my date. That she saw me as a protection for her. She made me feel like a man. When she took my arm, even if I couldn't protect her, because the truth is, if someone's got you at gunpoint, well, you're finished. But her expressing her femininity put him in his masculine energy and made him feel like a man. So I say to women, you wanna get the best out of a man, use your feminine energy, because that's what we're suckers for. We're suckers for. But if a woman comes at me like a man, I'm gonna treat her like a man. And I'm not soft with men, as you can see. So if a woman wants to get the best out of a man, her femininity is her superpower. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, to an extent, I agree, because if you're a woman in that situation, the smart thing to do is to basically let the man deal with it. Why would I put myself in physical danger when I have a man here that can do that for me? So it's literally just being smart about it and using your femininity in the right time and context. But whereas if I was going to a meeting at work and I was challenged about something, I wouldn't use my femininity and cry about it, because I think you would lose respect within the workplace. So
I understand. Yeah, in that respect, I've got you. I understand that. I've got another question for you, Brittany. Okay. Yeah. You've got two men. Both of them have equal character. They're both patient. They're both nice. They're both pleasant to be around. Okay. But as I mentioned to you before, one of them's rich, one of them's dead broke. Who's more attractive to you? All other things being equal.
Do you mean physically attractive or
just the idea? Because you don't just the idea of it. They are both look the same, have the same mentality. They're both nice, and so on. The only difference is their wealth. Who's the more appealing prospect?
Well, I think it really does depend on how you view wealth in yourself, because there are some people that really don't covet money.
Brittany, you're capping it. You're lying. You know you're capping it. You know who you would choose.
I'm not.
You're capping it, Brittany.
I swear I'm not. You're asking for females' perspective, and I'm giving you the perspective.
All right, fine. So you're telling me you take
I'm telling you for a fact.
Hold on. You take the dead broke guy.
Yeah.
You take him. All other things being equal.
What in terms of the choice? Yeah. No, I just think that it's just kind of reducing it down to something that it's not. Like there's some women out there, you know, that they've already experienced being in a relationship with rich. I'm not waffling. They've already experienced being in a relationship with a rich man, so they might not necessarily think that's the most important thing. They might be like,
but like I said, all other things being equal.
Well, Well, yeah, if everything else is equal, then that's just an added attribute.
Okay, thank
So
you.
it would
Thank you.
be
That's
stupid.
okay. All right. So
But it goes with
now
any
I
other
ask you,
attribute.
Brittany, I ask you. All right, because we're gonna flip it now. So now we've discussed the men. I want to discuss the women. In your view, who do you think is the more appealing prospect to a man, considering what men value in women? The 32-year-old woman who's got a couple of kids, or the 22-year-old woman who has no kids? Who's the more appealing prospect?
Well, I think
Hold on. All other things being equal, character, so on.
Well, I know. Well, I'd say I know. I mean, you're setting up these equal kind of standards, but I just don't think life works like that. I don't
It
think there's
doesn't, and I agree with you. It does. It's not. Life is not as simple as that, and it is a straw man argument. However, considering this straw man argument that I've put forward, in your view, who's the more desirable prospect, from what you know of men?
From what I know of men, yeah, I'd say there's stigma there, and I'd say that yeah, just looking at it in black and white like that, you know, the obvious choice, like someone that has children, that's baggage. Someone that doesn't, no baggage. So it's
Right.
you know,
Perfect. Now I want to ask you, what type of man are you looking for? You're a single mum, right?
yeah.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 26.
You're 26. Okay. How many kids you got?
I've got one.
One kid. How old is he? He or she?
She's 2.
She's 2. Okay.
Yeah.
What type of man are you looking for?
Well, that's another thing
Describe
as
him
well
to
that I wanted to go up to talk about as well, because I think as well what you said about single mothers and stuff like that, and going back to that, like you can just focus on yourself, achieving your own goal.
Forget that. Brittany, I want to know what type of man you're looking for. Describe him to me. You're not looking for a man right now.
No, not now.
If at some point in the future you wanted to get back into the dating scene, what type of man do you want to date? And like, describe him to me. Not just his features. I'm talking about how much money does he earn? How tall is he? What does he look like? How old is he? What's his history? That's that sort of stuff.
Okay. I'm not sure. I think that a lot of the stuff, I think men, from what I've learned from this, that men and women, I think they think about partners in a completely different way.
I agree. Definitely.
I think that it is different. I think that I think a lot of men assume that women have kind of like checklists. So, oh, someone has to be this and this.
You do have checklists. That's exactly what you got. You do.
No, honestly, no. I really don't. I don't think that's true.
All right, Brittany, if you don't know what you want, do you know what you're going to end up with? You're going to end up with I don't know man. You're going to end up with a man who doesn't know what he wants either. So you need to get clear on what you want. And that's why I ask you, what type of man do you think you would want? How much does he earn? Your ideal man that you hope to pair up with at some point in the distant future. How much does he earn?
I honestly, that wouldn't be a primary consideration. I earn my own money. So
fantastic. So you're happy. Okay, so are you happy to sponsor a man? Are you happy to sponsor him?
I'm not happy to sponsor anybody other than my child.
Okay, so hold on. But men, we're happy to sponsor women. We like that. So that means you have a standard. What's your standard? If you're not happy to sponsor him, you're not happy to pay for him, it means he's got to have his own money. What is that standard?
We'll just be self-efficiency then, wouldn't it? Like, you have to pay for yourself. I'm not sponsoring you. You have to pay for your life.
Very good. Right. Okay, I want to make a point here to the life. Gentlemen, pay attention. Women don't want to sponsor you, nor should they. Okay? But this means you must get your shit together, because we make money to spend it on them. They do not. They do not make money to spend it on us. And that's okay. You should pride yourself on taking care of your family. But that means you need to get your bits and bobs together. So now that we've established that there is a standard, Brittany, what's the standard exactly? How much does he earn? 30 grand a year, 10 grand a year, 100 grand a year, 150 grand a year, 200 grand a year? How much does he earn?
I really don't think, I think that it's a bad way to go for any person to kind of look.
What's your standard then? What's your standard of looking, what are you looking for in a man? I know you said you're not looking right now.
Yeah,
But
that's
what?
it.
I presume you don't want to be single for the rest of your life, right?
I might do. You never know. That's what I
You
think.
don't mind being single for the rest of your life?
I like it at the moment.
Brittany,
And that's the honest. That's the honest to God's truth. That's the truth.
Brittany, you're capping it.
I'm not.
There is no chance in hell anybody wants to be single for eternity. Eternity? Forever, ever? Ever, ever?
Yeah. Yeah, why not? If you can look after yourself, you can maintain yourself, then why do you need a relationship?
So this is where you guys go wrong. Listen, Brittany, there is nothing inferior about needing a man. We need you guys.
No, I don't believe there is.
Brittany,
I don't think there
I'm
is.
a man. I will tell you. We need women. We need them, and they need us. And guess what? You can survive without a member of the opposite sex. I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
But life's so much better when you've got someone to share it with.
But that's your opinion, though. You obviously like companionship.
So are you telling me you prefer to bring, as a random example, pleasure to yourself through an electronic gizmo than through the real deal, the real McCoy? Look at that smile. Oh,
that's
look at that smile.
That's quite specific, basically.
It's extremely specific because it's an important part of human nature.
Yeah, but I mean that's another argument as well. Like, in terms of, do you need to be in a relationship to have sex? No.
So, okay, that's going on a different route. So you're saying just casual sex, meet someone at the bar and just,
No, I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm saying you're saying basically you can't have sex unless you're in this long companionship or whatever.
Well, I'm coming from a different angle. I'm a Muslim, right? So we can't have sex unless we're married. But I respect you're not Muslim, so you're coming from a different angle. But I will say to you, do you feel more fulfilled being single or being in a relationship?
Well, I feel I mean, if you're I've been in a relationship before, so obviously if you leave a relationship, that's
was it a bad experience? Did something go wrong? Was it a bad experience?
It was just we were incompatible.
Okay, fair enough.
So and that was really it. We didn't get along. So
that's okay. People don't get along sometimes. It is what it is.
Yeah, but I think for anyone, like man or woman, you can be alone and happy. I don't think another person necessarily like completes you.
Oh, you can be happy for sure. You can be alone and happy. I'm simply saying you can be happier, I-E-R, when you have someone to share it with. You with me?
Yeah, but I mean, you don't necessarily have to focus on, like romantic relationships to share this happiness with, basically.
You don't. You're right. Brittany, I thank you for coming on. I'm going to bring someone else on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Take care. As a request, if you have any questions, put them at the bottom. I see a fight breaking out once again in the comment section. There's always a fight breaking out. Sometimes I wonder, are you guys listening or are you fighting in the comments? Right. Who said add me? Frosty. Let's add this guy.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, rahmatullah. How old are you, young man?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Age?
Yeah.
18, brother.
You're 18. How you doing, Aki? What's your name?
Aki, all good. My name's Yunus and that. How about you?
MashaAllah. Beautiful name. Yes, Yunus. What would you like to say?
Aki, you know what is? I've been following what you've been saying recently, yeah? Like, for a while now, your video's been coming on my For You page, innit?
Yeah.
Well, bro, although I agree with a lot of things that you say, like, on the real thing, I agree with a lot of things that you say, but wallah, on a level, you're really underrating a woman's role in Islam. Wallahi, bro.
Okay, tell me more. Tell me what you think.
You're underrating a woman's role in Islam, brother.
Tamam, tell me what you think.
A lot of people have really called you out for this, but what do you call it? A lot of scholars and whatnot have been raised by single mothers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you want me to talk about that? Shall I explain that?
What do you say?
You're absolutely right. You made a good point there. A lot of scholars have been raised by single moms. I'll name them for you. Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah, Abu Hanifa, Imam Ahmed, Malik, and the list goes on. A lot of scholars have been raised by single moms.
Yeah, it doesn't end there. Even the single mom herself, she wasn't like the single moms back then, they're not like the single moms now. You know what I mean?
Hold on, let me finish. These are scholars, right?
Yeah.
Come on. Where did these scholars learn their scholarly craft from?
Obviously, other teachers, innit?
Other scholars, correct.
Yeah.
And how much time would they have to spend roughly on a daily basis over how many years in order to become a scholar?
A lot.
And my final question, what gender were those scholars?
Man, nah, brother, I'm not saying.
Hold on. Men, dot, full stop. So my point here is, those men became men because they spent a lot of time in the presence of other men.
That's true.
No diss on their mothers. Yeah, Akhi, I can't hold a candle to their mothers. And most of us can't. I am not demeaning them. I can't hold a candle to these women. Do you understand this? Big woman, al-ayn wal-ras. But those men became men because of the amount of time they spent with other men. Are we clear on that?
Yeah, we're clear. But I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. You know what I mean? I just said in general.
If we're in agreement, then what's the problem?
No, the way that it came across through them videos that obviously went viral and whatnot. Yeah?
I'm with you. I understand.
It came
has that made it clear now? Has that made it clear for you?
Yeah, it clear. Well, I made it clear. But I've never been thing. I've never been against what you said since the beginning. It's just that
I don't mind if you're against. I don't mind. I like it, in fact, because I like to provide clarity. I recognize and I hold my hands up to the fact that many of my videos have been lacking detail. And as a result, people have rightfully gotten angry. And I accept that. And that's why we're having this discussion now. Would you like me to clarify anything else, Akhi Yunus?
No, actually, real talk. I got a question. What country are you from? Wallah, what country are you from?
My mum's English. My dad's Algerian.
Say wallah. Where you from in Algeria?
Harrash.
Wallah.
Yeah, are you Algerian as well?
Yeah, but I'm from, you know Mdia?
Where? Mouloudia?
Mdia's like the Sahara part.
Okay, mashallah.
But in Algeria, I'm from Buzrea, obviously, because that's where.
Okay, Allahumma barik, mashallah. Yunus, any other questions before I take the next guy on the live?
Oh, well, that's all good, brother.
Habibi, jazakallah khair. Take care.
Take care. I hear.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Who would like to come on next? Sisters, Rabia, you still here? I want you on this live, Rabia. I'm going to find you and I'm going to send you a shisma. Let me try and find Rabia's last comment. Yalla, Rabia, come on this live. Khalid, do you want to come on the live? There's a lot of ladies commenting. You guys want to come on? Please do. Add me, says not sent. Yalla, let's add this guy. Murad. Ladies, I want you next. I'm going to have Murad from it, then I want you next. Let's knock these misconceptions out the park. Murad, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Wait, let me clean. I think my lighting's making a shadow or something. How are you, Akhi?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Akhi Murad?
I'm good. I just wanted to discuss a couple points in it.
Naam, bismillah. Fadl.
Like, I see, like, you make a lot of points here, and some of them are valid, but I don't agree with the hypotheticals a lot, to be fair, because I feel like they're very restrictive. And when talking about companionship and stuff like that, there's so many sort of preferences.
Okay, what exactly do you disagree with? Give me a specific, concise example. What do you disagree with?
Okay, for example, the example of you mentioning a 32-year-old with a kid and then sort of mentioning a 22-year-old and that being more desirable.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's other factors. Number one, to assume a hypothetical in which both of them have the same personality, same qualities, etc. It's almost not feasible with the age gap.
How old are you, Murad? How old are you?
I'm 23.
You're 23. Are you married now?
No, I'm not.
Okay, that's okay. I want to ask you, Murad, who do you prefer, 22 or 32?
I think there's too many, like, there's so many factors.
Hold on. Listen, I'm going to come to you right now. I've come to your house today. I said, Murad, you don't know nothing about these girls. Nothing at all. All you know is numbers. One's 22, one's 32. Who do you want to see first?
The 22.
Khalas, conversation finished.
But why is that, though? That's not necessarily because
you
of
tell
the age.
Me, you're the one who answered.
That's because of my age, though. If I was 32, the 32 might be preferable. You get what I'm trying to say? It's something
you
subjective.
Answered the question, not me, bro.
Yeah. No, I hear that. You asked the question, but I'm saying it's so subjective. I'm 23. I feel like a 22-year-old I might be able to relate more to.
there might be more things in common. There's different factors. Now, if I was 32 or 33, I might be like, okay, these 22-year-olds are a bit young, quite immature nowadays in this society. They get influenced a lot more by social media. They're brought up differently. There's various factors to consider rather than assuming, okay, they both got the same personality.
All right, Murad. Do you want to have kids one day?
Yeah.
Inshallah. How many kids would you like to have?
However, Allah blesses me, innit?
Yeah, me too, but roughly, I mean, what?
5? 4, 5.
Okay, that's a good number. 5. You marry a 32-year-old woman, yeah?
Yeah.
I need you to bear this in mind. She's 3 years away from high-risk pregnancies. 35 years old, a woman getting pregnant becomes high risk. Once she hits 40, her chances of conceiving are slim to none. How do you propose on having 5 kids with a 32-year-old woman unless you're going to knock them out every single year, which takes a huge toll on her body?
But that's under the assumption I haven't had kids. And under the assumption that she's not going to... It's feasible, though.
Okay. Well, of course, there's always the exception. There's always the details and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But you understand my point.
No, I hear what you're saying.
The biological reality is that women are on a timer. They're on a clock, and they need to get their house in order quicker than men. This is another reason why women mature quicker than us as well. They have to mature quicker than us because they're on a timer, and that timer is their body clock.
But in regards to mature quicker, what do you mean?
Mentally, up here. Men don't listen. Men don't start coming into maturity until around 40. It is the reason why no prophet, with the exception of Isa alayhi salam, was given prophethood before the age of 40.
I agree, but I think nowadays the circumstances are a bit different.
There's no but. Anything before but is bullshit.
No. I'm saying I agree with the statement you made about prophethood, etc. But in regards to maturity nowadays, I think there's various different factors. Like women nowadays, I don't necessarily think they mature faster than men because I think maturity is based upon.
What do you disagree with?
I think a lot of times nowadays, women don't have the same responsibilities that they had back then. Back then, women used to, raise the family, have that sort of influence. Do you understand? Whereas nowadays, men have a lot of responsibilities. Hence why
do we? How many responsibilities? Okay, I don't know about yourself, your personal situation, but the average 23-year-old man, how much responsibility does he have, bro?
It's very subjective, isn't it? It's mad.
All right, I agree with you. It's subjective and there's a range, but generally speaking, how much responsibility does the average 23-year-old man have?
Bro, it depends on their class.
Bro, I'll answer it. Jack Diddley, the average 23-year-old man, oftentimes is still living at home with his parents. You don't have responsibility. My guy's chilling. My guy's chilling.
So, okay. You've now assumed because you're living at home with your parents that you don't have much responsibilities.
No, you can still have. I've got a friend who lives at home with his parents, and he's got 10 younger brothers and sisters. He may well have more responsibility than me. I am saying the average 23-year-old living at home with his parents doesn't have much responsibility. My friend is an exception to that rule. He probably has more responsibility than me. Are you with me? But the average guy living at home doesn't have much responsibility at that age.
But what about the average 23-year-old female? What would her responsibility?
Okay, I'll tell you the difference. The average 23-year-old female, she's thinking, I need to find someone suitable to pair up with before I hit 30. 30 is like a pivotal age for a woman. If let me prefix that. If she hasn't already had kids and she wants to have kids, it's a crucial age. It's like it's now or never sort of thing. So once she's 23, do
you think a lot of them still think like that though?
She might not want to have kids at that time, 23, but she knows in the back of her mind, I've got a few years to sort this out. Whereas men, we're just not on that timer. So we tend to take longer to mature.
Okay. But in regards to what you said about them thinking, 30 is the pivotal age, etc.
Chloe, you can come on next if you want to come on. Nah, Mafi, tfadal.
Yeah, you know how you said, like, this goes back to what you said, it's like a high-value female, etc. And how if they want a high-value man, they should orientate, those qualities. But that's so generic. You know when you said a high-value female, she has to be this age, etc.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Be around 23.
What I said was, what defines a high value female? and
Yeah.
what defines a high value male.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's something subjective, but you made it a general consensus.
Yeah, because when I talk, I don't talk about exceptions. I talk about the general curve. I don't care about the anomalies. There will always be
I'm
anomalies.
not considering anomalies. But
Yeah,
I'm
so
saying
generally speaking, Akhi, generally speaking,
preferences as a whole is something subjective.
Yeah,
what you define as high value.
Habibi,
Yeah.
Akhi. All right, I'm going to use a more extreme straw man argument for you. Who do you think's going to be more attractive, 22-year-old or 42-year-old female?
22-year-old.
22-year-old.
Who do you think's going to be more? Wait. Who do you think's going to be more intelligent, the 22-year-old or the 32-year-old?
You have a good point there. The 32-year-old.
Do you get what I'm trying to say, though? And now, if you value,
may well be more intelligent, but the thing here is
important caveat. If you value looks and I value intelligence, now it's in my best interest to go to the 32-year-old. Do you get how subjective?
Okay, but hold on. But then you're back to your initial discussion, which was you said you wanted 5 kids. My friend, you're very unlikely to have 5 kids.
Okay, that's my preference now. But if you want 2 kids,
but you were thinking about yourself, Akhi.
But bro, that's my point. Is it's subjective? You said myself. Myself is the key term here. If it was a general consensus, it will be ourself. It will be everyone.
Why do you think models, once they get past 27, 28, they're off the catwalk? Why do you think that is? Think.
Bro, that's because of, that's looks though.
Yeah.
Now, if
that's a big part of it.
Yeah, if you value looks over, let's say, intelligence or ability to take care of a family, etc., you now
I'm not saying no. Look, for me
I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying
personally. Intelligence, character, these are all very important things. Me personally, I will not.
You said ambitions isn't. Yeah.
Hold on. I will not take a beautiful woman if she's got a terrible character.
Of course. But you said ambitions isn't. Yeah.
Hold on, Habib. But a lot of men are suckers for looks because that's how we're wired.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's reality.
You with me?
Yeah, that's our biggest
if a lot of men can get suckered into a trashy woman because of her looks, what does that tell you about the value of her looks?
Yeah, obviously.
High value. We attach a high price to her look.
But do you understand how that value is now a negative point? If you're sucked into her looks and she has X, Y, Z negative stuff, it's why a lot of men get married and then afterwards they find out their real character or they find out, oh, we're not really that compatible because they got sucked into their looks. So something you initially seen as a positive has become something negative.
But in this example here, you're presuming that the good-looking girl has a trashy character.
I'm not presuming that.
My point to you is this.
I'm just showing how a positive trait became negative.
Shut this down right now. All things being equal, intelligence, character, compatibility, who's more desirable to you, 32 or 22?
That's like me saying, if I give you a bonus on top of your salary, would you take it? Yes.
No, it's not like saying that.
It is that, because you need the positive attribute.
All things being equal,
you put controlled variables.
You
put controlled variables and you name the positive attribute.
We must have controlled variables in the study. So. Right. So I'm asking you the question, Akhi. It's not a trap. It's just think yourself.
No, I know. Of course.
All things being equal, who are you more likely to go with?
Of course.
The 22-year-old. And that's why I say a woman's principal currency is her youth and beauty. For that reason that you just said there.
But that's now you literally put one variable there and set a certain importance now. If
we'll go around the circle. We'll go around the circle.
We are.
We'll go around the circle. Is there any other question you want to ask before I bring on someone else?
I wanted to ask, is it always going to be necessarily in a woman's best interest to try and achieve those high value women qualities? Because like, let's say for example,
define it. What do you define as high value women qualities? Define it.
Okay, the ones that you set initially, that you said what is a high value female, and the one that you stated the general consensus for, now that required youth, that was the element of it. Now if a girl's young and she's pursuing her studies, for example, and she has XYZ responsibilities. And this goes back to what, I forgot what her name was that was previously on the live. But she said it might not be in her best interest to pursue that. Because you said if you want a high value man, you need to do XYZ to be a high value woman. So if you're studying, etc., it's not in your best interest to think, oh, I need to be a high value female and meet the man's requirements so I can get married. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Right, well, we're discussing multiple things here. All right. You're talking about a woman pursuing her career. Let's tackle that first, because that brings up that opens up a different can of worms. All right. Are you
Okay.
familiar with the term hypergamy?
Yes.
Okay. So hypergamy simply refers to dominance hierarchies. Men in general tend to marry across and down, and women in general tend to marry across and up dominance hierarchies. This is quite much biology. She wants to make sure it's secure. We want to make sure we can actually take care of someone. Normal, okay? The dilemma that is presented to hyper-successful women in general, but the more successful she becomes, the narrower her pool of men to choose from. For the simple reason that if she's going across and up, all right, let's say she's a PhD. My sister's doing a PhD. It's a good example. My sister's doing a PhD. She made it quite clear to me, to my wife actually. She said, I will not marry a man except he has minimum PhD. I don't know what the maximum is, because I thought PhD was the highest. But she said minimum. Do you understand? She said minimum PhD. Because she's doing a PhD. But the dilemma that has presented itself to her is, okay, two. Number one, how many men have got a PhD? Narrow pool. Number two, all those men with PhDs have all the options because they go across and down the dominance hierarchies. So now she has stacked herself with this huge swath of competition. Now, I've got nothing against educated women. All my sisters are educated. My wife is educated. Our whole family is educated, alhamdulillah. I am simply bringing to bear a reality, which is the more successful a woman becomes, the more her options narrow.
But doesn't it narrow in a positive way?
Tell me how.
Because you said it goes across and up. So where it intersects, it's most likely going to be a high-value male.
Okay, so you're saying she's targeting the high-value males, right?
Yeah. Well, from what you said.
So she's trying to choose from a higher quality pool of men. Absolutely, I agree with that. But that still doesn't change the fact, which is, if I have the option to choose from 10 women, or I have the option to choose from 100,000 women, who has more options? 10 or 100,000? Obviously, it's obvious. 100,000.
Yeah.
So again, the point here is, yes, she will be trying to target higher quality men, but she has a double dilemma. There's less of them, and they are being hunted by swaths of women. The competition is fierce at that level. Do you see?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I understand that. But don't you think the high-value man, that high-value female, or, successful female, is now going to be more within his radar? Or she's going to most likely come across these successful men?
All right,
because you're going to be around that sort of network, aren't you?
That comes down to now, what do men value in women? Goes back to our original question.
Yeah, now, if you value intelligence, for example, or someone ambitious, then that will be in line with
Okay, fine. An ambitious, intelligent girl has come your way. You're not attracted to her. Will you marry her?
Nah.
Right. So that means, once again, that we go back to the initial discussion, which is beauty. Beauty is currency. If you're not attracted to her, she can be as intelligent as she likes. You're not attracted to her. So we go all the way back around to home base, which is beauty is currency. And when is she most beautiful? In her early 20s.
Yeah, of course. Beauty is one form of currency. But if she comes to me beautiful and she's dumb...
We've done that. We've done that. Habibi, we've done that.
Yeah. So I agree with you. But I'm saying there's different type of currencies. Do you understand?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Men are not just money providers as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We have other currencies as well.
Yeah.
But that's why I say to women, I'm going to bring you a man with an amazing character, beautiful personality, he's patient, his blah, blah, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But not only is he broke now, he has no ambition of changing it. He's going to be broke forever. You're going to have to sponsor him. Would you take him? No woman in her right mind.
But you know what? I have a question about that.
Hold on. What does that tell you? That the top priority for a woman, in general, and I'm speaking in general before the ladies start attacking me, is that stability, that security. That's what she's looking for.
No, I hear that, but I wanted to ask you quickly, why do you think women, like, you've probably seen it growing up and stuff, why do you think a lot of them go for these bums that aren't necessarily this high value, where they don't have this money, they don't have this stability, they don't have these ambitions? I know, probably know.
That's another discussion. They don't go for bums, they go for assholes. That's a whole other discussion. He can be a bum.
You understand how you've set so much precedence and importance on this,
I'll
where
explain it to you.
a lot of guys that Yeah.
She's not gonna go for a bum who's got no game, but she might go for a bum who's got game.
Yeah.
If he's got game, she may well go for him. But that's
you
a whole other
understand
discussion, bro.
But bro, you understand how this game fully negated this high value of being stable, having money, blah blah blah. Like a lot of the guys that necessarily get the most women don't necessarily meet this high value male requirement.
All right, let me ask you a question. Those men who've got game but no financial stability, how long do you think they can hold on to their women for? How long before she bounces?
I have no idea. I'm not that guy in it, so
she'll stay for a while. She'll stay for a minute. As soon as
some girls are in toxic relationships for years.
Some are. Let's not stick with the fringe. Let's stick with the majority.
Yeah.
She'll stay for a minute. She might even have your baby. But once she has your baby, you're no longer number one. That asshole is not top priority. Her baby's top priority. What does that mean? She's gonna start looking for that guy that will give her baby stability, because he is no longer number one no more. Do you know what happens after that? They split up, and then she goes back to looking for the high value man. Habibi Murad, I appreciate it, Akhi.
Hey, it's been good. It's been good. It's been interesting.
I'm gonna try to bring someone else in. Take care.
Hey, ma salama.
Ma salama. Assalamu alaikum. One more person, preferably a female. I want to get some water. Hold on, before you send the request, I need to get some water. One of the ladies, last one, inshallah, before we wrap this up. I've still got a long day ahead of me. Bismillah. Right. Anusha, all right, Anusha, yallah, let's get you back on. Yallah, Anusha. Bismillah. Anusha, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
What the hell? Hello?
Can you hear me? Is your internet better today?
Yeah, I'm at home now. It should be fine.
Anusha, tafaddali. Bismillah.
Bismillah. I don't know what you just said.
Tafaddali, meaning please.
Oh.
What would you like to say?
Okay. I saw one of your commentators ask a question that I really liked. He said, I think he went by the name of Woke Mind.
Okay, Bismillah.
And he said something like, is it just only wealth, or can like a man have intangible net worth? And yeah, I really like that question, because it's absolutely true. It's not just about, so as a woman, it's not just about like wealth. It's about like, okay, you need a minimum level of security that you can offer, but especially
hold on. Let me start. You said it. You've answered it already. This conversation has already been answered.
Let me please.
Hold on.
No.
Yeah.
So
Anusha,
let's
you
take
said
it
there's
beyond.
a minimum. You said there's a minimum. And
No, hold on a minute. Yesterday or the other day, we were discussing about, young people getting married. Yeah. And you don't always have that, the crystal ball, right? So you got to go by someone's potential. Yeah. So, okay. But the thing is, he asked, can you have an intangible high net worth value? And
intangible high net worth value.
Yeah. And you absolutely can, because, for example, in society, like really spiritual men, they have like very high net worth value. I've found, like,
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
My response to that is very simple: is that those individuals are a minority. How many very spiritual people do you know?
Yeah, so they're in demand, right? Because they're in the minority.
They're in demand, but they're still a minority, which means the majority of women will not have them. So then we go back to our
same with wealthy men. Same with like, when you say high net worth, we're talking about wealth, right?
Well, no, the value is determined by many things, particularly if you're a Muslim. Firstly and foremost, it's your deen, right? But when I speak to the broader audience, Muslim and non-Muslim alike. And the way that I always answer these questions is very simple. If I present to you, Anusha, a man, and I'll say it for the last time, who has an amazing character, deen, taqwa, patient, good to your son, and so on and so forth. But two things. Number one, he's broke. And number two, he has no ambition of changing that. Would you take him?
No, we don't even need to repeat that point because
And that's why
that's
I
it.
say wealth and is the deal breaker, or at least ambition. All right, my wife here, she was my third wife at the time. Right, I didn't have tons of money back then.
You know what,
But she said
Mahdi?
to me something. Hold on.
Mahdi, listen.
Let
Wait,
me
listen.
finish, Anusha.
Okay,
Anusha,
go
let me
on.
finish.
Go on.
She said to me, I saw potential in you.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I understand this is women
Yeah.
are betting on two things. Either he's got wealth or she's betting on him one day having it.
All right, listen, we're talking about the value of men. So I get to speak, okay? If we're going
Okay.
by what you
Yes.
said, I get to speak, all right?
Please do.
Okay, so I just want to because you seem to have a lot of young viewers.
Yeah.
And I think, especially when you're young, women are attracted to men who are good at what they do. Like, I'm not saying especially when you're young, just in general. Women are attracted to men who are good at what you do. It doesn't matter what field. It literally doesn't matter what field, as long as you're good at what you do and you're aiming to be the best. Like, that's one of the most important
Anusha,
concepts.
you've just answered this discussion. That's hypergamy.
Yeah.
You're attracted to high-performing men. What am I saying that's different? Or you're attracted to a man who
I'm not
one
on
day
his...
could be a high-performing man. What's the difference?
No, but it's like, sometimes it comes across as like, you have to be wealthy. It's not about wealth.
No.
It's about like, you know, you can be good at what you do and still not earn a lot. But the thing is, it's still a very attractive quality.
I'm
like,
with you. Okay, so it
yeah.
feels like you're saying, so long as he's hardworking, he's really putting that sweat in, even if he's not earning a lot of money, you can still respect him. Am I correct?
Right. Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I accept that. I totally accept that.
Yeah.
But then I present to you another argument, and that is he's hardworking, he's good at what he does, but he earns next to nothing to the point where you're sponsoring him. Does he sound attractive to you?
Okay, so you're talking to someone who's an artist, right?
Well, that's a good example. That's a great example.
We're known for like being broke until we make it. Yeah.
That's a great example.
So like, yeah, if he's like the best in the game, but you know, he hasn't made it yet, absolutely I would be willing to sponsor him. With
But
what I don't know about.
You made I'm gonna take a word that you just said. He hasn't made it yet. This is so important. Women also bet on the future. You don't just bet on the present.
Right.
You place bets on the future. And that bet is, I think, based upon the research I have done and the information I have gathered from this man, one day he will be successful. That's the bet you're placing. That's hypergamy. That's high value male status. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So this goes all the way back around to home base, to everything that I'm saying. Men need to get their SHIT in order. And if they don't already have it in order, they need to be working towards getting in order.
I think
that's what you guys find attractive.
Yeah, I think men and women, because women should never be without an option. Like, you never want to end up in an abusive relationship and not have an income to fall back on. So I think men and women need to spend their 20s on a skill, whatever skill it is. You just want to do is it the 20,000 hour?
10,
how many?
hours.
10,000. Like, you want to spend much time as you can in your 20s, if possible, to like just master that skill. So that's just the advice. Yeah.
But for altogether different reasons, and I'll give you a little story. The first time I was married, well, we got married really young, right? And I continued my studies. My wife fell pregnant very quickly, and we had child after child.
Right.
And what ended up happening was I was continuing my studies. My horizons were broadening. My mental capacity was broadening, and my wife was still at home with the kids. And what that experience taught me, because eventually she became so sticky to me, so clingy to me, that it became emotionally suffocating. And the experience I took from that was, and I say it to my wife all the time, a woman needs her own thing. Less for money, because I don't care about her money, and more to keep the relationship healthy. I need her to do her own thing, so we're not in each other's faces all the time.
Right.
With me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to get onto the, if you're willing to talk about it.
Real quick.
You're talking about the 4 wives, your story yesterday.
Okay, go shoot.
Okay. First of all, you are the one that made a TikTok video, is the one that angered everyone about single mums should consider just polygyny, right? You're talking, so you aimed at single mums. You said single mums need to consider be getting married to someone who's already married, right?
Good. Hello.
Okay. Most single mums are going to be late 20s, early 30s, even late 30s.
Sure.
You literally just said that so the other day we both agreed that it's only ethical if a man can provide for multiple wives, right? So that would render him a high net worth male.
Right.
Yesterday you said high net worth males are only going to go for 24-year-olds.
Oh, your internet's happening again. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, yesterday you said high net worth males are only going to go for 24-year-olds.
I didn't say only. All right. What's your question? Before I answer, what's your question?
I'm saying you're contradicting yourself.
Okay, I'll provide you the answer. Okay, the reason why I say to men, don't get into polygamous relationship if you can't take care of the woman financially, is because single moms or women who've been divorced and so on have a skewed impression of their value. This is very important to understand.
Single moms or women
they
who
hold a similar value to the value of a girl who's never been married before. And because of that, if he doesn't provide for her, she will become upset, and rightly so too. But on the flip side, if you have a high value man who has high net worth as well, think about it logically. You, Anusha, when you were 22, who are you more likely to consider? The single man or the man who's got 10 kids? Who are you going to consider?
Yeah, I get your point.
You're going to take top pickings because you're in your prime. Now you get to be choosy, right? Because you're in your prime, you get to be choosy. But guess what? When a man gets into his prime, he gets to be choosy too. Now, the question that we really should be asking is, so Mahdi, if you're saying that a high value, high net worth man is for the most part just going to be considering younger girls, what do we do with the divorcees and the single moms and so on and so forth?
Yeah, very practical question, yeah.
Right. So my answer to that is very simple. That group of women, that segment of women need to understand something very important, and that is they don't qualify for that level of men. They don't qualify.
Okay.
Let me finish. So they need to ask, so what do they qualify for? If that level of man has all the choice in the world and a single woman who's younger is a better option than an older woman who's got kids, it means she don't even qualify in the first place. Which means what? She needs to start punching within her range. Who does she qualify for? Okay, I'll give you an example. She might qualify for a man who maybe earns £40,000 a year, £50,000 a year. And he says to her, you know what? I can't take on your entire household, but I can take on half. I can split the bills with you. And this is misyar. That is what misyar is. I can't give you full 100%, but I can give you X percentage. And that might be upsetting to hear, Anusha, but that's what that segment of women qualify for.
It's not about upsetting. It's just about let's discuss this in a logical way. Also, I just want to point out, like, if you're a single mom, there's always single dads. That option's always there.
That's true. I will say single dads don't tend to keep the kids. Custody rates are over 80% of custody are won by women. So if a single mom and a single dad get together, he's still usually coming on his own. He's not bringing the kids into the house.
Yeah.
So he's not bringing his baggage.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
So even then, it's not an entirely equal calculation.
Yeah, it's not an equal exchange, no.
Yeah.
And then the other thing.
Question, though? Does that answer your question?
For now.
Good. And the other thing?
Okay. And then you mentioned how you want to have like lots of children.
Yeah.
You mentioned a number.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So once upon a time, like I just want to like, I started talking about this the other day and I didn't quite fully get there. Once upon a time, the goal for Muslims was to procreate, right? To like grow the population as much as possible. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. There was a very valid reason for that. One of those reasons was self-defense, right? It was self-defense. It's like you need to be able to protect yourself. Nowadays, it's not about like numbers. It's about stable minds. Like, you know, when you're raising children, it's about like nowadays it's about providing stability, emotional well-being. Like, emotional well-being is so important nowadays. Before, it was just about survival.
But emotional well-being wasn't important back then?
No, because we're talking about, you know, the Maslow's pyramid of needs.
Yeah.
Right. So back then, when you're like just surviving and your life expectancy is like 40 to 50,
right.
These things, emotional well-being, it's not that high up on your list. Yeah, because you're like, yeah. So nowadays it's way more important because most people do have food and shelter. So next is like emotional well-being and self-actualizing and stuff like that. So how are you going to be there emotionally for your 20 kids? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And the fair answer is, if you've got 2 kids, by default you will have less. You will be less emotionally available. Sorry, if you have 20 kids, you will be less emotionally available to those 20 than you will to 2. And my answer to that is simple. The Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to have many children because he wants to boast on Yawm al-Qiyamah about the size of his nation, his ummah, right? Firstly. Secondly, it's a me thing. Most men don't want to have 20 kids, believe me.
Okay, that's fine. But one other thing, yeah? So you're talking about you wanna wife like 23, 24-year-olds. Okay, fine. That's your preference. Okay. Are you going to be providing them? Because you're not going to be there for them. When they have these babies, you're not going to be there for them full time. Are you going to be providing nannies and childcare? Like, that's what I want to know.
So look, any man who wants to get himself into that situation has to have full autonomy over provision and everything in between. A to Z. Are you with me?
Okay.
Whether it's nannies, whether it's transport, whether it's child, whatever it is. And by the way, that brings me to another point, the ideal polygamous setup. The ideal polygyny was designed to bring families closer together, not further apart. If I did it again and I found myself in that situation, I would not have families far apart. I would have them close together. Close, because your kids need to see you every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be brothers and sisters, yeah.
Right. And I would be very choosy on who I pick because it has to be a woman who's low in jealousy, who doesn't spark off every 2 seconds. It's a picky process. It's not easy. It's a difficult process.
As long as you're willing to like provide like the extra help, because you're not going to be around to help full time. As long as you're willing to.
That's a no-brainer. Listen, that's something I would like to hope that I speak on behalf of most men, but I get in trouble for this. So I'll just say myself, that's something I pride myself on. I look forward to it. Do you understand? It's not a problem. That is a blessing. It's a privilege to be able to take care of your family like that. But you have to be a man of means in the first place. You can't provide them with thin air.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We've got that sorted. I just wanted to get like clear that up. So yeah, it's fine.
Anusha, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Cool.
I'm gonna wrap this up. Feel free if you want to ask any other questions. Feel free on DM, guys. If you have DM'd me, I apologize. My DM is full and my day is full as well. So DMs are always last for me. Anusha, thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.
No,
and thank you for everyone who joined the live. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.